What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos. And today we got some gameplay going on for you. We have our GranDracmon on the right, and we have our Terriermon tribal on the left. This was just a deck I built back in EX2 for fun. I made a couple of adjustments here and there to it. Never really played it against anything, so I just wanted to kind of, do a gameplay video of two decks that are on, I guess you could say, similar power levels. Not like, tier 1 or tier 1.5, just kind of like low tier, like Rogue or whatnot. Just to have some fun and just play some different decks. It's fun to play different decks, especially if you can, make interesting combinations with what your card pool allows you to build. It's just nice to play different things. And surprisingly, this Terriermon deck was a lot better than I thought. So we're going to catch up here. I do apologize for any glare. I did try adjusting the camera angle to the best of my abilities. I think I've gotten a better angle in relations to how it was in our last upload. So let me know in the comments if this is just a better viewing experience for you guys. But basically, when it comes to Terriermon Tribal, you're just playing a whole bunch of Terriermons that don't do much except for your searcher. You have the Memory Choke Terriermon, which is good in just the actual meta game, but I don't really consider this GranDracmon to be essentially a meta deck. So the Terriermon that searches from BT8 is really nice because you get to dig top 5 for any pieces for evolution. And let's not forget, when we got our Golden Armor BT8 Rapidmon, he does Digivolve over a Terriermon for 3. So there's a lot of reasons. Well, I should say that's the reason you build Terriermon. I was just surprised with how it performed. And then as for GranDracmon, I've been playing a lot of Digimon Survive lately. I'm actually almost done with the game. And recording of this video. I think I'm on chapter 11 right now. And Dracmon has been low-key my favorite Digimon in the entire game. And the fact that we have a GranDracmon deck that we could build, I just had to do it. It's definitely a very interesting deck because it interacts a lot with your trash, which is nice. There's some type of there's a lot of recursion from your trash, which is really nice. I could definitely see that it's missing a couple of pieces. If it gets support in the future, it might put the deck over the top. But, for right now, I just kind of wanted to have some fun with it because, the GranDracmon is actually really strong, as you can see here. Basically, what happens is you could Digivolve him from your trash with the Inheritable on Sanglutmon or on your Dracmon when you attack. If you have a Digivolution target in your trash, you can Digivolve it from your trash on top of your source. So basically, Matadormon is your ultimate in this deck. What he does when he Digivolves, or on swing rather, you can trash one card from your hand to give it plus 3k DP for the turn. And then you could go ahead and trigger the Inheritables off your Sanglutmon or your Dracmon, Digivolving into your GranDracmon. If you Digivolve GranDracmon over Matadormon, it reduces the cost by 1, so it makes it a 3-cost evolution. And then GranDracmon, when he's Digivolved from the trash, allows you to essentially play a rookie from your trash, and it gets to trigger all its on-play abilities. So you can see here, we just kind of swung with the GranDracmon, did some damage. We played the rookie Dracmon, and then Dracmon plays and reveals top 3. You get to trash an undead or dark animal to the trash, and then you get to add one to your hand. And then after the attack is completed, another GranDracmon effect, you get to Digivolve your rookie into a champion from your trash without paying its memory cost. So I thought this whole mechanic was really interesting. Being able to Digivolve from your trash in purple, it goes hand in hand. As you can see, the power of Rapidmon here, just kind of clearing the board with all of its effects and Digivolving and reducing DP. Playing from your trash in a color like purple that just inherently wants to put stuff in the trash is a really interesting concept in my opinion. And then not having to pay the memory costs for those cards is also just really awesome. In a resource-based game where you have to pay memory to play things, playing stuff for free is just broken. So that was the main inspiration behind, attempting to build GranDracmon. I still think it's a lot of fun, the deck. This is probably just not a great matchup because Rapidmon essentially just murders you. Rapidmon is so strong, being able to Digivolve for 3 on a Terriermon and then suspending your opponent's board equal to the number of Tamers you have, and then negging your opponent's board by 5k DP up to 3 Digimon. It's just disgusting because in combination with the inheritables on your Gummymons and your Terriermons and your Calamon skills, you could get your Rapidmon to like 11k DP. So anything that's like less than, what would the math be on that? I don't even know, but he could take out Megas on his own. Like that GranDracmon that was on my opponent's side of the board there was sitting at 12k, and Rapidmon's just able to swing over the top. So you don't really need to pressure security too much in this deck. You want to be able to answer the opponent's board as quickly as possible so they don't spiral, and then you just kind of chip down, little by little, because they do have to rebuild their stacks. And in a meta like today where we're focusing on big stacks, especially if you look at decks like Metal Garurumon X or Alphamon, they want to really invest into their big stack and just kind of OTK you. So the fact that Rapidmon can have a lot to do with that board state is really interesting in my opinion. And the combination of inheritables that you get from your rookies and your babies, as well as your Calamon being on the board, it just makes it for a more widespread effect. So as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and activate the Matador Dracmon evolution again with the Sangloopmon in the source there for the inheritable. It's just a really good effect. Digivolving into your Mega, drawing a card, and then free playing a rookie that's going to do something. And then at the end of the attack, you're going to go ahead and just Digivolve up into a champion. It's just going to give you that secondary stack. That's like the sweet spot, in my opinion. You want to be able to pressure your opponent efficiently. And building a secondary stack is really nice. Now, again, just the ability of Rapidmon being able to answer the board is it's just gross. Like, it's so hard to recover, and it's so hard to put stuff on board knowing that Rapidmon's going to answer it. You would kind of think that these big stack metas where you're just kind of building and raising and then promoting at the very last second, that would counteract what Rapidmon wants to do naturally. But like I said, the combination of inheritables with the DP gain and the Calamon skill on evolution is it's just a lot, to take in. And not to mention, you have your Memory Tamer in Henry, and you also have Willis that reduces evolutionary costs on a Rapidmon or a Gargamon. There's just a lot of utility in this deck. I really think it's really not that bad in my opinion. I mean, I wish the ultimates and the megas were a little better. Mega Gargamon is okay. I mean, he's a 5-cost Digivolution, which is kind of disgustingly expensive, but he's pretty good for like what his skill does. And the Ultimate Rapidmon that we got from EX2 is also a pretty good card. On Digivolve, if you have a Tamer, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, which is nice because it's going to trigger all your inheritables. But I think the bread and butter for this deck is just a Rapidmon with Tamers. Like, you have Izzy Mimi, which basically says if your opponent plays the game, you get rewarded by having memory. As you can see here, they have arrested Loimon. So we're going to go ahead and gain that 2 memory and start off at 5. And 5 memory in this Terriermon deck is an alarmingly high amount. Being able to just go ahead and Digivolve into your Mega Gargamon without having to pass turn is essentially kind of broken, because you're going to put your Mega out on board, you're going to get all the pluses from his effects, and then you're going to go ahead and just be able to threat security or threat board. And as you can see, we're just kind of pressuring here. We're going to go hybrid for game 1, and we're going to pass over to game 2 very shortly. Now again, I know that this Terriermon deck looks like it's putting in a lot of work, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. We're purposely playing fun decks here. We're purposely playing decks that haven't been fine-tuned to represent or to have representation in the meta. So as well as this deck performs in this gameplay video, I'm not encouraging anybody to run out and take this to like a regional or anything like that. You want to play it at locals, totally fine. You want to play it at a kitchen table with your buddies, totally fine. But do you want to take this to like an Ultimate Cup or like a Grand Prix or whatever they call the events nowadays? No, don't do it. I mean, is there an argument to be made where you can try to make this as competitive as possible? Sure, and you could use, the cards that you're seeing on the board here as like a skeleton, as like a starting point, but by no means do I think this is something you should take competitively. So we're off to kind of a slow start here. We finally drew into a rookie. We have a whole bunch of Tamers set up. And, Dracmon isn't off to the best start either. Yeah, he's got 4 rookies on the board. But sometimes, you also have your pieces to climb in chains. There might have been a slight misplay there. I should have attacked, or he should have attacked before you know, playing that, knowing that the Terriermon and raising could come up and potentially go into a Rapidmon, as we see there, and just basically stunning the board and negging everything. And you're going to see the power of Rapidmon here, being able to suspend 3 Digimon and then neg 3 of them by 5. Obviously, you're going to neg all of the Digimon that are unsuspended, because you can't swing over them, and then you're going to go ahead and pick off the board that way. So the more tamers you have out, the more value Rapidmon's going to get, and the -5 DP on the board is just so gross. Like, it's just a lot, you know, and you're talking about wiping out essentially 4 Digimon because 3 of them were negged DP and the other one was just run over. So you got rid of 4 potential swing attack targets. Dracmon probably should have swung first before playing that final Dracmon to pass over turn. You would have easily checked for security there. So that was probably a misplay, but sometimes you kind of want to set yourself up, especially in the earlier turns, and you see your opponent not having the best start. You want to take advantage of being able to play stuff out without having to worry about too much of what's going on the opposite side of the board. But then again, you do have to know when and when not to make certain plays. So we're going to go ahead and play the blue card here. I love blue card. I think blue card's a really interesting option that we got out of EX2. As long as you can control a tamer, you ignore the color requirements of this card. But essentially what it does is it looks at top 5, and then if you could Digivolve one of those top 5 that you revealed, you can do it without paying its memory cost, which is nice. Worst case scenario, you just basically add a non-white Digimon to your hand off of that top 5. So as you can see here, we were able to go ahead and Digivolve into our ultimate Rapidmon, and then attack with our Rapidmon and trigger Mimi Izzy, or Izzy Mimi, or Mizzy. And what that does is when you attack with a green level 5 Digimon, you could reveal a top 3 from your deck and then Digivolve into a level 6 without paying its memory cost by suspending the tamer, which is, again, a really nice way of cheating out Mega Gargamon because he is a 5-cost evolution. Now, go ahead and going to pass to Dracmon's turn over here. That Fangmon is kind of disgusting because it has retaliation. So a 4K DP champion being able to clear off a Mega is kind of gross, and you're kind of resetting your opponent back. You know, they took the effort in building up that stack, and you're just going to go ahead and delete it essentially with the retaliation. But then you got to go ahead and have a secondary play. So that's what the Dracmon is for. But again, you know, just being able to put stuff to the board, it's hard to commit when you're playing against Rapidmon because he's going to go ahead and just neg you down for no value. I mean, yes, Dracmon does look at top 3, you know, for an undead, but it doesn't really do anything. And then the fact that he also has Armor Purge is kind of disgusting because you can check a security, keep your Terriermon on board, and then keep it in for a Digivolution on a Gargamon. And a lot of these Gargamons are reduced cost. The BT3 one is only 1-cost evolution, and I think the EX2 one isn't a reduced evolutionary cost, but it reduces the evolution that it goes into. So we're going to pass turn by playing the Terriermon, and, you know, Dracmon is not in a good spot. I mean, doesn't have any board presence, sitting at 4 security. He does have a memory tamer, and he just played a memory boost, which is nice. And Analog Boy does get a little bit of value offensively if you crash into security, but it's probably not the best card for the deck because most of the time, your level 5 or higher Digimon are going to probably die on your opponent's turn, so you're not really going to benefit too much from that. There is a little bit of a combo in this deck where you can kind of trigger Analog Youth with the Skullgreymon, but I think the Skullgreymon triggers at end of turn as opposed to end of attack. So that might be something to look into. But if you have stuff that can delete itself and then you go ahead and get your value off of Analog Boy, then you definitely want to do that. But like I said, I wasn't prepared for, as you can see, we checked the Skullgreymon there in security. I wasn't prepared for how much I enjoyed playing this Terriermon deck. Again, I would not take this deck to like a major tournament. You know, knowing me, I probably wouldn't even take it to locals in my opinion, but I did have a lot of fun playing it. Terriermon is one of the cooler Digimon that we've ever seen. You know, if you're Tamers fans, you probably love Terriermon and Henry's relationship, and then seeing them Digivolve, you know, up their chains, you know, with a lot of effort going into those Digivolutions was a really nice touch for Tamers. It wasn't as easy as just having a Digidestined partner and a Digivice to be able to go ahead and evolve up your chain. But, you know, Terriermon is pretty awesome. I was first introduced to Terriermon in the Digimon movie from the year 2000, and he was just so cool from then on forward. So the fact that you could play a whole bunch of Terriermons is kind of nice. We're going to go ahead and see the Dracmon combo again with the Matadormon and the GranDracmon from Trash. going ahead to grab the rookie to look at top 3 to trash an undead and add an undead or a dark animal to hand. But again, this is probably just not the best matchup because of all the Rapidmon shenanigans your opponent can do by, reducing DP and suspending your Digimon and stuff like that. You're also going to get punished. We have this Dracmon suspended here, and Izzy Mimi is just going to go off and gain a whole bunch of memory. So there's not much you could really do, especially when you have Terriermons on the board that could easily Digivolve into Rapidmons and go ahead and suspend 4 Digimon and neg 5k DP like the whole entire board. It's kind of disgusting. So I'm going to let this one play out. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.